welcome to the deep dive. You know that moment, right? That mix of excitement and maybe, yeah, a few butterflies when you're starting something totally new, something big.
Oh, yeah.
It's like stepping onto this huge, unfamiliar stage, and, well, you want that first act to be amazing, absolutely stellar.
You want to nail it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today, we're tapping into that energy. Our mission, it's really to arm you with the ultimate playbook, like the script for making a really unforgettable, positive debut at your new job. We've been digging into some brilliant insights from this great source, Mastering Your New Job Debut. And honestly, it's just packed with really practical wisdom.
It really is good stuff.
This isn't just about, clocking in. It's about making your mark, shining.
And it's so much more than just fitting in or like surviving the first day, isn't it?
Right.
What I think is really transformative about the approach in this book is how much it emphasizes being intentional.
Intentionality, okay.
Yeah. Your first day, those very first chats you have, they aren't just random events. They're the foundation, the bedrock you build everything else on.
Everything, like long-term.
Yeah, strong, lasting professional relationships, and ultimately a work life that's actually engaging and, fulfilling.
Makes sense.
So this deep dive today, it's really designed to shift your whole perspective, turn that potentially daunting, nerve-wracking feeling.
The jitters, yeah.
Exactly. Turn it into something empowering, an adventure almost, where you feel, fully in control and genuinely ready to connect and really thrive from day one.
I love that framing, an empowering adventure.
Yeah.
Taking those nerves and channeling them into, focused, positive energy.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
We're going to start with what the book calls the pre-game warm-up, setting the stage for success.
The warm-up. Good analogy.
Right, think of it like getting ready backstage.
Yeah.
Making sure every little detail is spot on before the curtain goes up.
Okay, I'm with you.
First up in this pregame prep, and it's often the very first thing people notice, is your visual statement. Dressing for success.
The power suit. Or equivalent.
Maybe. But it's not just about looking sharp. It's about projecting the right message, before you even open your mouth.
Crucial.
The source, Mastering Your New Job Debut, gives this really clear guideline. Choose an outfit that's, quote, professional and appropriate for your new workplace culture. Simple enough.
Seems straightforward.
But here's the really nuanced bit, especially if you're not quite sure what the office vibe is. When in doubt, it's better to be slightly overdressed than underdressed.
Yeah, the classic advice. And it holds true.
It does. But why? Why is this seemingly basic advice actually so important? What's the deep psychology there?
Well, the book talks about something really interesting. It calls it the cognitive priming effect of attire.
Cognitive priming. Okay, tell me more.
It's not just about how other people see you. That's part of it, sure. But it's also about how your clothes influence your own internal state, your performance.
Really? How does that work?
When you consciously pick an outfit that feels professional, that respects the environment you're entering, it subtly shifts your mindset. You actually feel more competent, more prepared.
So it's like internal signaling.
Exactly. There are studies showing it can lead to measurable boosts in confidence, sharper focus, even better problem solving. So no, it's not just vanity. It's a strategic psychological tool you can use.
That's fascinating. So it really is like putting on a superhero costume, but for the office. You're not just dressed. You're mentally primed for action.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
But what about that overdressed versus underdressed balance? Is there a risk of going too far? Can being too overdressed backfire? Or is slightly overdressed always the safest play?
Well, that word slightly is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Right.
The book definitely warns against, showing up in a full tuxedo to a tech startup where everyone's in jeans and hoodies.
Okay, yeah, probably not the best move.
Right. That signals a total lack of cultural awareness, which can be just as bad as being underdressed. Slightly overdressed means you've leaned towards formality and respect, but you're still within the general ballpark for professional wear in that industry.
Gotcha. So like a blazer instead of just a shirt.
Exactly. Or polished shoes instead of casual sneakers, maybe.
Yeah.
It just sends this signal that you take the role seriously, you respect the company, you respect your future colleagues, and you've put actual thought and effort into how you present yourself.
It communicates diligence.
Yes, and a commitment to excellence, but without being flashy or trying too hard. It basically says, look, I'm prepared, I'm serious about this, and I deeply respect this opportunity. It sets a really positive baseline.
That makes perfect sense. It's about showing you're intentional and ready, not trying to, steal the spotlight. Okay, power outfit sorted. Now let's shift gears from the wardrobe to the brain.
All right.
Next up in our pregame warm-up, and just as critical, is research, research, research. Arming yourself with knowledge.
The homework phase.
Totally. This is your script analysis, if we stick with the stage analogy. Understanding the plot, the characters, the whole story you're stepping into. The source says, do a little homework. Learn about the company's mission, recent projects, and even some of the key players. Now, we all know research is good, but does the book give any specific tips on how to research effectively? Or maybe highlight things people often overlook?
Oh, definitely. It introduces a really smart concept called the social footprint audit.
Social footprint audit. Sounds intriguing. What is it?
It goes beyond just checking the company website or the latest press releases. It suggests looking at the public interactions of key people you might be working with.
Like on LinkedIn?
Exactly. LinkedIn, maybe industry forums they participate in, professional blogs they write or comment on. It's not about being creepy or stalking them online.
Right, important distinction.
Very. It's about understanding their communication style, maybe identifying who the key influencers are within the team, even picking up on shared professional interests before you walk in the door.
Wow, that's next level.
Imagine knowing ahead of time that your new boss is really passionate about, say, sustainable business practices, or that a potential teammate just published a piece on a niche topic you also find interesting.
Okay, I see where you're going. That gives you instant connection point.
Precisely. This kind of deeper research allows for much more meaningful first conversations. You can move beyond just the basic pleasantries almost immediately. It positions you as someone who's not just showing up, but is already informed, engaged, and genuinely interested in the team's work, not just your own little silo.
That's a really profound point. It totally changes research from just, like, ticking boxes to a strategic way of mapping the social landscape.
Yeah, it's social intelligence gathering, in a good way.
So instead of just asking, so what do you do here?
Hmm.
Which is fine, but
A bit generic.
yeah, you could potentially say something like, oh, I saw your recent article on X specific topic on the company blog that looked fascinating. What was the biggest takeaway for you from that project?
Exactly. See how different that feels? It instantly elevates the conversation. It signals you're prepared, you're invested, you've done your homework.
It shows initiative.
Huge initiative. It demonstrates you're proactively trying to understand the context and you have a genuine interest. That can be incredibly impressive on day one. It tells people you're not just there to fill a chair, you're there to contribute and connect meaningfully. It even helps you start to figure out those, informal networks, how things really get done.
That's brilliant. Okay, vital step. Now, for the final piece of our pregame warm-up, let's get practical. Logistics. Arrival time. It's get your bearings, the calm before the curtain rises.
The simple stuff that makes a big difference.
Totally. The source recommends, if possible, arrive a little early on your first day. This gives you time to find your way, settle in, and avoid rushing. Seems like basic common sense, right? But what are the maybe hidden psychological benefits of just getting there 10, 15 minutes early?
The book frames this beautifully as creating your arrival anchor.
Arrival anchor, I like that.
It's fundamentally about reducing anxiety and maximizing your readiness, both mentally and physically. Think about the alternative. You're running late, maybe stuck in traffic. You burst through the door flustered, heart pounding, frantically trying to find reception.
Been there. It's stressful.
Super stressful. And that immediate stress inevitably spills over into your first interactions. You're flustered, maybe sweating a bit, not projecting calm confidence.
Right.
Arriving early, even just a little bit, gives you those precious few minutes of quiet. Time to find the restroom, figure out where the coffee machine is, maybe just sit in the lobby, take a few deep breaths, and center yourself before the day officially kicks off.
It's like a mental reset button.
Exactly. It's about setting a calm, composed internal state before the whirlwind starts. This ensures your mental clarity is sharp from the very first minute. It lets you greet everyone and everything with composure, with an open, positive demeanor. It's a deliberate choice, really, to start your day grounded and present, not reactive and rushed.
That's a fantastic analogy, the arrival anchor. It really captures the difference between, sprinting in totally frazzled versus gliding in calmly, taking that deep breath, finding your space, and feeling fully present and ready. It's a small-time investment with potentially huge payoffs for those first crucial moments.
Absolutely huge. Don't underestimate it.
All right, warm-up complete. Stage is set. You're feeling good. You're looking sharp. You're mentally prepped. You've got your anchor down. Now let's talk about making your memorable debut. Confidence is your best accessory.
Showtime?
Showtime. This is your active entrance, the very first impression when you walk into your new workspace. And so much of it is nonverbal, isn't it?
Oh, massively. Before you even say hello.
Okay, first tip here. Sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Smile and make eye contact. The universal welcome.
The fundamentals.
Exactly. The source says, a genuine smile is universally welcoming. It instantly makes you more approachable. Combine that with confident eye contact, and you're already building trust. Okay, we know this instinctively, maybe. But does the book offer specific insights on how to deliver a truly genuine smile? Or what constitutes effective, non-creepy eye contact in a professional setting, especially if you're feeling nervous inside?
Yes, it does. It calls this the open portcullis protocol, which sounds fancy.
Ah, it does, like storming a castle.
Right. But the idea is simple. A genuine smile is like opening the gate. It's an open invitation. It's disarming. It's friendly. It immediately puts people at ease. It signals warmth, approachability, a willingness to connect. It literally makes your face seem more trustworthy and inviting.
Okay. And the eye contact part.
And the eye contact when it's done confidently, but crucially, not aggressively.
Right, not a stare down.
Definitely not. It's about connection, not intimidation. It conveys honesty, engagement, attentiveness. The protocol advises aiming for what it calls a soft gaze. Hold it for about, say, 3 to 5 seconds during an interaction, then maybe briefly look away, perhaps to nod or consider a point before gently reestablishing contact.
So breaking it prevents it feeling like an interrogation.
Exactly. And for those moments when you're feeling really nervous, it suggests a quick technique. Right before you enter the room or meet someone, take a deep breath and mentally picture something or someone that genuinely makes you happy or brings a smile to your face.
Like a puppy or...
Whatever works. That micro moment can trigger a more authentic smile, what they call a Duchenne smile, the kind that reaches your eyes. It looks and feels much more genuine than just forcing your mouth into a shape.
That's smart.
These two simple things, the genuine smile, the soft eye contact, they are absolutely foundational for building rapport. They create that positive first connection before you've even said a single word. It's powerful nonverbal communication.
That's incredibly practical advice. The open portcullis protocol. The soft gaze, the pre-smile trick. That's the kind of actionable detail that really makes a difference. It's not just smile more, it's smile like this. I can immediately see how that would shift the whole dynamic of a first meeting.
It really does.
Okay, building on that, it's not just your face. Your entire body is communicating. So, next up is positive body language, speaking without words.
The physical broadcast.
Yes. Our source advises, stand tall, shoulders back. Avoid crossing your arms, which can make you seem closed off. Keep your posture open and relaxed.
Yeah.
What are the subtle nuances here? Are there common body language mistakes that newcomers often make? Maybe inadvertently sending the wrong signals even if they mean well?
The book dives into what it calls gravitational pull cues.
Ooh, knuckle name. Gravitational pull.
Yeah, the idea is your body language either pulls people towards you or subtly pushes them away. An open posture, shoulders back, standing tall, arms uncrossed, maybe hands visible and relaxed at your sides or gently clasped, that signals receptiveness, confidence, and a lack of defensiveness.
It says, I'm open to interaction.
Exactly. It literally makes you appear more approachable, more ready to engage. Common mistakes. Well, I guess fidgeting is a big one. Tapping your foot, playing with your hair, clicking a pen. It can signal anxiety, boredom, or impatience.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all do it. Hunching over is another. It just screams lack of confidence. And a really subtle one is holding things like your coffee cup, your notebook, your bag right in front of your torso, almost like a shield.
Creating a barrier without realizing it.
Precisely. It's often unconscious, but it creates a physical barrier. The goal is to project this aura of comfortable confidence and openness that invites connection. It communicates you're present, you're attentive, you're ready to participate fully. It's not just about looking confident, it's about being genuinely receptive.
That concept of gravitational pull cues is fascinating. It really reframes how you think about just standing there. It's not just about posture. It's about intentionally creating this inviting energy field around you. I can instantly visualize someone doing that versus someone kind of huddled or closed off, and the energetic difference is huge.
Palpable, isn't it?
Totally.
Right.
Okay, so you're standing tall, you're smiling genuinely, you're projecting openness. You also want to bring a bit of spark, right? Some energy. Our next point is be enthusiastic, but not over the top. Your contagious energy.
Finding the sweet spot.
Yes. The advice is show your excitement for the new role and for being part of the team. A little genuine enthusiasm is contagious. Now, this feels like a balancing act. How do you strike that perfect note, especially if maybe you're naturally a bit more reserved? What does not over the top actually look like in practice?
This is where the book talks about the authentic resonance principle.
Authentic resonance. Okay.
Genuine enthusiasm, it really is like an energetic gift you give to the room. It clearly communicates you're eager, you're happy to be there, and that positive vibe can genuinely lift the mood of people around you. It's a nonverbal way of saying, hey, I'm excited to join this journey with you all.
Right. It's infectious in a good way.
Exactly. However, that not over the top caveat is absolutely key. It means avoiding, forced theatrics, talking excessively just to fill silence, or putting on this huge booming display that might feel artificial or even like you're trying too hard to grab attention.
Like workplace jazz hands. Maybe avoid those.
Probably best to avoid the jazz hands on day one, yes. It's about authentic positivity, energy that feels real and sustainable, not like a performance you have to keep up.
So how does a quieter person show enthusiasm authentically?
For someone who is naturally more reserved, it's less about volume and more about engagement. You express enthusiasm through really attentive listening, asking thoughtful questions that show genuine interest, offering that ready, warm smile we talked about. You don't need to be the loudest person to show you're excited. It conveys passion and commitment in a way that doesn't overwhelm your new colleagues. It makes you an uplifting, but also grounded presence.
That's a great distinction, authentic resonance versus forced theatrics. It makes me think of that colleague everyone loves working with whose positive energy is just real. It's infectious because it's genuine.
Exactly. It's about aiming to be that person, bringing that natural good vibe with you from the very start, makes you someone people want to collaborate with.
Absolutely. Okay, so you've made a stellar visual entrance. You're radiating this confident, authentic energy. Now let's move into the actual words part. The art of connecting. Beyond just your name. This is where you start the conversations and that opening line.
Yeah.
Surprisingly important.
Your verbal handshake?
Precisely. First up, your go-to introduction. More than just a name tag. The source gives us this wonderfully clear, super effective template. Hi, I'm your name. I'm your job title here. I'm really excited to be joining the team.
Simple, clear, effective.
It seems straightforward, right? But what are the specific ingredients in that template that make it work so well? And what are the common ways people stumble when they introduce themselves without that kind of structure?
The book calls this the context affirmation framework.
Context affirmation. Got it.
It works so well because, 1, it's concise, gets straight to the point. 2, it's immediately informed if people know who you are and why you're there. And 3, crucially, it instantly conveys your specific role and a positive, enthusiastic attitude.
That I'm really excited part.
Yes. That I'm really excited to be joining the team is vital. It sets a welcoming tone right off the bat. It actively invites a positive response from the other person. It completely avoids that awkward moment of, hi, so who are you again?
We've all been there.
Totally. It gives people immediate context. They know your name, your function, and that you're happy to be part of the team. Common pitfalls. Oh, mumbling your name is a classic.
Yep.
Or just giving your name but not your role, leaving them guessing. Or delivering the whole thing with this air of apology or apprehension. Without a clear framework like this, you might accidentally seem unsure, maybe even uninterested. Or worse, you make the other person feel like they have to awkwardly pull the information out of you.
Yeah, puts the burden on them.
Exactly. This framework acts like an open door, an invitation to connect. It puts them at ease immediately and gives them something solid to respond to, beyond just a mumbled hello back.
I can totally see that. The difference between a hesitant, hi, I'm Alex, versus a clear, bright, hi, I'm Alex, a new product manager, and I'm genuinely excited to be here.
Yeah.
The second one just feels so much more engaging, doesn't it?
Night and day.
Feels open, confident, like it's inviting a real conversation to start.
Precisely. It sets the stage perfectly.
Okay, so you've nailed the intro. Now, the next step in making a genuine connection is to show genuine interest, the magic of open-ended questions. This is about turning the spotlight onto them.
Shifting the focus. Key skill.
Totally. The source advises, ask open-ended questions. What do you work on here? Or what's a typical day like for you? People love to talk about themselves and their work. Why is this approach so powerful? And does the book suggest any specific open-ended questions that maybe go a bit deeper than the standard ones?
It emphasizes what it calls the discovery dialogue method.
Discovery dialogue, nice.
Curiosity, as we touched on with research, is just an incredibly powerful connector. Think about it. Closed questions, ones that can be answered with yes or no.
They kill the conversation.
Pretty much, they shut it down. But open-ended questions, they invite stories, opinions, details. They encourage a much richer conversation, allowing you to learn so much more about your colleagues, their roles, sure, but also their challenges, their successes, even the little nuances of the company culture they navigate every day.
And it shows respect.
Absolutely. It fundamentally demonstrates respect and a genuine desire to understand their world, their contributions. People feel valued when you ask about their experience. So beyond just what do you work on, which is a decent starting point, the book suggests questions like, what's one project you've worked on here that you're particularly proud of?
Ooh, good one.
Or what's the most interesting challenge your team is tackling right now? Or even something like, if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about your typical workday to make it even better, what would it be?
Those are great. They invite reflection.
Exactly. When you ask someone about their work with that kind of genuine curiosity, you're not just gathering data, you're making them feel heard, valued, and respected for their expertise. This active engagement is absolutely critical for building that solid foundation for future collaboration. You're making meaningful connections that go way beyond just surface-level chit-chat.
That's brilliant. Discovery dialogue. I love that framing. It really turns every first conversation into an opportunity to learn and connect, not just a formality you have to get through. And you're right, asking what's the most rewarding part of your work invites so much more passion, a story, a deeper glimpse into who they are.
It opens the door to real connection.
Okay, and as they start sharing their stories, sharing those details, your next superpower comes into play. Listen actively. The superpower of presence.
Maybe the most important skill of all.
Could be. This is all about truly hearing what they're saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Our source is crystal clear. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Truly listen to what they're saying. Remember names and small details. This shows respect and helps you build rapport. Now, it's one thing to hear the words, but what does active listening actually look like in practice, especially on a busy, maybe slightly overwhelming first day?
The book talks about using the echo chamber technique, but in a positive way.
Okay, echo chamber. How so?
It's about consciously making the other person feel genuinely heard, understood, and validated, which, as you can imagine, is invaluable for building trust and rapport in any relationship, especially a new professional one. In practice, it means doing more than just processing their words. You're also tuning into their nonverbal cues, their tone, their body language.
Taking in the whole message.
Exactly. It involves specific techniques like paraphrasing what they've just said to confirm you've understood correctly. Something like, so if I'm hearing you right, the biggest challenge is X.
Shows you were paying attention.
Totally. Asking clarifying questions if something isn't clear, making those little responsive noises or gestures, a nod, an uh-huh, that signal you're tracking with them. And crucially, remembering things. Remembering their name is baseline, but also remembering those small details they might share. Maybe they mention they're training for a marathon, or they have a specific hobby, or they recommend a great lunch spot nearby.
Little nuggets of information.
Yes. When you recall those later, even in a brief follow-up comment, it sends this incredibly powerful message. I was fully present. I was paying attention. What you said mattered to me. This builds immediate credibility and forms the bedrock of a strong working relationship. It shows you're investing in the human connection that underlies all professional success. It tells them you value them, not just the information they possess.
That's incredibly insightful. And it's so true. I think we've all felt that little jolt of positive feeling when someone remembers a small, seemingly insignificant detail you mentioned maybe weeks ago. It's just incredibly validating, isn't it?
It really is.
It instantly signals, you registered, you matter to me. And wow, what a powerful feeling to give to your new colleagues right from the start.
Huge impact.
Okay, so as you're actively listening, engaging with these discovery dialogues, you'll hopefully start to find our next point. Find common ground, building bridges, one interest at a time.
The connection points.
Yes. The source encourages you to, as you listen, try to identify shared interests, whether it's a love for coffee, a passion for a certain hobby, or even a shared goal related to the work itself. Now, this seems kind of obvious, find things you have in common, but what's the deeper psychological mechanism at play here? Why do these seemingly small connections matter so much?
The book calls this finding the affinity trigger.
Affinity trigger. Sure.
Finding common ground, even something small, creates this immediate, often almost subconscious sense of connection. A bond. It humanizes the whole interaction. It moves it beyond just a formal professional exchange into something a bit more personal, more relatable.
Breaks down the barriers.
Exactly. It provides a really natural, comfortable launching pad for conversation that goes beyond just shop talk. It allows for a more organic connection to form. These seemingly small things, you both love the same sci-fi author, you both root for the same underdog sports team, you have a similar commute, you both appreciate good design, maybe you even share a frustration about the office printer.
Huh. Universal bonding agent, the printer.
Right. These are the little threads that start to weave the fabric of professional friendships. They make the workplace feel less like just an office and more like a community you belong to.
It's about finding those points of genuine human overlap.
Precisely. They foster camaraderie. They make coming to work feel more like connecting with people you actually enjoy and can relate to on a human level. These small shared interests create these little micro moments of belonging, which are incredibly important, especially when you're new.
Totally. Imagine bonding over, yeah, a shared love for bad 80s movies or a mutual appreciation for a particular type of dark roast coffee. These details, they seem trivial, but they can absolutely snowball into real, lasting connections. They make colleagues feel more like comrades, and it just makes your whole work life richer, more enjoyable.
It really does. It transforms the environment.
Okay, so we've covered the prep, making that confident entrance, and the art of connecting with genuine interest and active listening. Now let's shift focus slightly to actions over adjectives, building trust and strong relationships.
Walking the walk.
Exactly. Because ultimately, it's not just about what you say, it's what you consistently do that really builds that deep, long-term trust and leaves a lasting positive impression.
Actions speak louder, as they say.
They really do. First up in this section is a really interesting balance. Be proactive, but not overbearing. Helpful, not hyper-efficient.
Big, tricky balance, this one.
It is. Our source tells us, offer to help when you see an opportunity, even if it's something small like grabbing coffee or helping with a task. But big, but don't jump in and try to take over. This highlights that delicate line. How do you spot genuine opportunities to be helpful without overstepping your bounds or coming across as like arrogant or pushy, especially when you're brand new and still learning the ropes?
The book advises using what it calls the supportive observation strategy.
Supportive observation. Okay.
This means being really tuned in, really observant of your new surroundings. Look specifically for small, low-stakes opportunities where you can genuinely lend a hand without needing deep institutional knowledge or stepping on anyone's toes.
Like what? Give me examples.
Okay, simple things. Offering to grab coffee for the team if you're heading out anyway. Seeing someone struggling with a huge stack of papers and offering to help carry them. Maybe noticing the printer needs paper and just refilling it. Offering to assist with a straightforward administrative task like making copies or sorting mail if appropriate.
Gotcha. Small, tangible acts of helpfulness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are subtle but powerful gestures. They demonstrate initiative, they show you have a team player attitude, and they signal a genuine willingness to contribute, even in small ways. Now, the not taking over part is absolutely vital.
Right. Don't be that person.
Don't be that person. It means strongly resisting the urge to immediately start suggesting better ways to do things you don't fully understand yet. Don't jump in uninvited on high-level projects on day one, trying to fix everything.
So observe first, contribute carefully.
Yes. The goal is to ensure you're seen as supportive, collaborative, and helpful, not as intrusive or arrogant, or as someone trying to immediately disrupt established workflows before you even understand them. It's about becoming a valuable, supportive presence that integrates smoothly. You build goodwill one thoughtful, small, helpful act at a time. It's about demonstrating your spirit of contribution, not your supposed superiority.
That's incredibly practical advice. It really is the difference between offering to help someone clearly juggling too many files versus marching in and declaring their whole filing system obsolete on your first morning.
Precisely.
Those small, thoughtful gestures, they make a huge difference in perception. They lay the groundwork for trust and show you're there to be part of the team, not just to shine individually.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, now, on the flip side of offering help, there's also immense strength, the book argues, in knowing when to ask for it. Our next point is ask for guidance when appropriate. The strength and humility.
Embracing the learning curve.
Exactly. The source says it's okay not to know everything on day one. Asking for help or clarification shows humility and a willingness to learn. Could you show me how this system works? Or where can I find X? Why is being willing to ask questions so crucial for building relationships? And are there ways to phrase those questions that maximize the positive impact?
The book frames this using the concept of curiosity as connection.
Curiosity as connection. I like that theme.
It's powerful. Asking questions, especially when you're asking for guidance, is fundamentally a sign of strength, not weakness. It clearly demonstrates you have a growth mindset, you're eager to learn, you want to develop, and critically, it shows deep respect for the knowledge and experience of your new colleagues.
You're acknowledging their expertise.
Precisely. When you ask something like, hey, could you possibly walk me through the standard workflow for submitting expense reports? I want to make sure I get it right from the start. You're not just gathering information, you're actually giving your colleague an opportunity to share their knowledge, to teach, to demonstrate their value.
That's a great point. It empowers them too.
Absolutely. It can be an incredibly effective relationship building moment. When someone teaches you something, it creates this little bond, a sense of shared investment in your success. It's about embracing that initial learning curve with confidence, showing you're committed to understanding the how and why of things, rather than just floundering silently and potentially making easily avoidable mistakes. It also clearly communicates, I value your insights, which fosters a really collaborative spirit right away.
That's such a great reframing. Curiosity is connection.
Hmm.
Instead of feeling embarrassed about not knowing something and maybe struggling silently, making mistakes.
Which wastes time and goodwill.
Right. Confidently asking for that quick tutorial on the new software or clarification on a process, it actually saves everyone time and builds bridges. It clearly says, I'm here to learn, I'm proactive about it, and I respect your experience. That's a powerful message to send on day one or week one.
Incredibly powerful, shows maturity and self-awareness.
Okay, moving beyond those individual interactions, you also want to show you're becoming part of the bigger picture, the team. That brings us to be a team player, contributing to the collective spark.
Getting involved in the team spirit.
Exactly. The source tells us simply, offer your support, celebrate small wins, be a positive force in the office. Now, how does a newcomer effectively become a positive force without seeming, I don't know, presumptuous or like they're just overly eager to impress everyone?
This is where the book introduces the idea of the ripple effect of positivity.
Ripple effect. Okay.
Being a true team player goes way beyond just checking off your own tasks on your to-do list. It means actively contributing to the overall positive atmosphere in the workplace. It means demonstrating genuine support for your colleagues when they need it, and importantly, acknowledging and celebrating collective achievements, no matter how small they might seem.
So it's not about being fake happy all the time.
Not at all. It's not about being a constant cheerleader for every tiny thing. It's about authentic engagement and support. For a newcomer, what does this look like? It could be offering a sincere, wow, great job on that presentation, to a colleague who just finished.
Simple, but meaningful.
Very. Offering a quiet word of encouragement to someone facing a tight deadline. Even just consciously maintaining an optimistic, problem-solving demeanor when the team hits a bump in the road. When you celebrate a team's success, maybe someone landed a new client or a tough project phase was completed, or when you offer that genuine support, you foster this powerful sense of camaraderie.
You're building morale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you a valuable, uplifting presence, someone who actively contributes to a thriving, supportive work environment. It clearly shows you're invested not just in your own individual success, but in the collective well-being and achievements of the entire team. That's what being a real team player looks like.
Yeah, imagining celebrating a colleague's successful pitch or just offering those sincere words of encouragement before a big meeting. Those actions build trust. They foster goodwill. They demonstrate genuine care. They help transform a collection of individuals into a more cohesive, supportive unit. And it sets a fantastic tone for how you intend to contribute long-term.
Sets a great precedent.
And as you're doing all of this, being helpful, asking questions, being positive, remember our next vital piece of advice. Be patient, cultivating connections over time.
Ah, yes, the long game.
The long game. Our source reminds us, building relationships takes time. Don't expect everyone to be your best friend by the end of day one. Keep a positive attitude and continue to be yourself. This feels like such a critical reality check. What are the dangers of expecting too much connection too soon? And how does that consistency, that authenticity, play into building real, genuine relationships over the weeks and months?
The book calls this having a growth mindset for relationships.
Growth mindset for relationships.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great frame. It reminds us that building rapport, building trust, it's absolutely a marathon, not a sprint. Patience is so key because it prevents you from getting discouraged if bonds don't form instantly, and it stops you from pushing too hard. You simply cannot force genuine connection. It has to develop organically over time through shared experiences and consistent interaction.
What happens if you push too hard?
The danger of expecting too much too soon is exactly that, pushing too hard, which can be really off-putting, right? Trying to get too personal too quickly, asking intrusive questions, expecting immediate deep trust or friendship. It can make people uncomfortable and cause them to pull back.
Okay, it's awkwardness.
Huge awkwardness. And that emphasis in the source, continue to be yourself, is absolutely crucial here. Why? Because authentic connections, the ones that really last and matter, are built on trust and consistency. They're built on people getting to know the real you, not some manufactured persona you put on for the first week that you can't possibly maintain.
Sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting, and ultimately it's unsustainable, and people can often sense when it's not genuine anyway. So by remaining authentic, keeping that positive attitude we talked about, and consistently applying these connection strategies, being helpful, listening actively, showing interest, you allow genuine relationships to flourish naturally. You build bonds that are solid and lasting precisely because they are founded on who you truly are. It's about understanding that deep rapport develops organically through repeated positive interactions over time. Like tending a garden, really.
That's such a perfect analogy, nurturing a garden.
Right.
Some relationships, some connections, they might bloom really quickly. Others might take more time, more consistent care and nurturing to really flourish.
Yeah,
Both types are valuable, right?
absolutely. Both are valuable.
And both require that patience and that consistently positive, authentic approach. It's a powerful reminder that authenticity needs time to reveal itself and build trust. Okay, and finally, as you navigate this new garden, this new terrain, you need to be a really keen observer. Our last point in this section is observe and adapt, navigating the unwritten rules.
The invisible landscape.
Exactly. The source highlights pay attention to the office dynamics, the unspoken rules, and how people interact. This will help you integrate smoothly. This is fascinating stuff. What are some examples of these common unwritten rules that newcomers often miss? And how does picking up on them quickly really accelerate your integration into the team?
Oh, the book actually dedicates a whole section to this, calling it cultural cartography.
Cultural cartography, mapping the culture. Love it.
Yeah, it's essentially about mapping those unwritten rules, the subtle norms, because every single office, every team has its own unique rhythm, doesn't it? Its own personality, its own set of unspoken codes of conduct. And these can be incredibly subtle, easy to miss if you're not paying attention.
Give me some examples. What kind of things?
Okay, think about communication styles. Is the default for quick questions email, instant messenger, or just walking over to someone's desk? Is a quick wave okay for morning greetings, or is a more detailed "how was your evening" chat expected? How are decisions typically made? Is it top-down? Is there a lot of consensus building? Do things happen in informal chats by the coffee machine?
Yeah, those are subtle but important.
Totally. Is it okay to eat lunch at your desk, or does everyone tend to go to the break room or out? How is feedback usually given, very directly or more indirectly? Observing how people communicate, how they collaborate, how problems get solved, how conflict is handled or avoided, the general flow and energy of the day. All of this allows you to start adapting your own approach so you can integrate more seamlessly.
It's about fitting in without losing yourself.
Exactly. It's about becoming a perceptive, thoughtful contributor, someone who intuitively starts to understand the flow and the norms of that specific workplace. This isn't about rigidly conforming or changing who you are, but about showing respectful integration. It signals that you value the existing culture, you're paying attention, and you're keen to become a productive, harmonious part of it. And honestly, that accelerates your effectiveness and your sense of belonging much faster than just about anything else.
That's incredibly valuable cultural cartography. It really is those micro-observations, isn't it? Noticing if people prefer quick IMs or formal emails, or if morning greetings are a nod or a conversation. These tiny details can genuinely make or break your initial integration. Picking up on them shows you're observant, respectful, and tuned into the unique heartbeat of your new team. Makes you seem like a more thoughtful and savvy colleague almost instantly.
Huge difference. Shows you're switched on.
Wow, okay. What a deep dive. Seriously, from picking out that power outfit and using the cognitive priming effect to doing your social footprint audit, setting your arrival anchor, using the open portcullis protocol for smiles and eye contact, engaging in discovery dialogue with that curiosity as connection mindset.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did. We've walked through this ultimate playbook for a truly powerful debut. We talked about preparing with real precision, radiating that confident yet authentic presence, connecting with genuine interest, and then backing it all up with those proactive, team-focused actions, remembering the ripple effect of positivity, and doing our cultural cartography. So you, our amazing listener, you now have the tools, the insights, hopefully the inspiration, and definitely the roadmap to approach your next new job, not just with excitement, but with a clear strategic plan for making a fantastic start.
And just to really echo that core message from mastering your new job debut, that first day, those first few interactions, they truly are your chance to lay the foundational stones for what can be an incredibly successful and fulfilling experience. By consciously embracing these strategies, being prepared, showing up confidently, being genuinely interested in others, and acting like a true team player from minute one, you're doing so much more than just breaking the ice. You are actively, intentionally building strong, positive relationships from day one.
That's the key.
Absolutely. So go into that new adventure with an open mind, keep those eyes observant, maintain that welcoming spirit we talked about, and chances are your new colleagues will open their minds and hearts right back to you. It's really about opening a brand new, exciting chapter with purpose, with intention, and with a whole lot of positive energy.
Beautifully put. So here's a final thought to leave you with. If your first day really is your grand debut, maybe a performance on your new professional stage, what kind of standing ovation do you want to earn? Not just from your new boss or colleagues, but maybe more importantly from yourself. For a debut truly well played, one that genuinely sets the stage for a career you'll love.
That's a great question. And maybe building on that, consider how these very first interactions, the ones fueled by this kind of deep preparation, genuine curiosity, and strategic engagement, how could they not only shape your immediate experience that first week or month, but potentially influence the entire trajectory of your career journey within that organization?
Yeah.
What kind of impact, what lasting day one legacy do you want to intentionally create for yourself?